Hello, you're watching QPVN News. I'm Anh Tuấn and we keep you up to date with the headlines. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính pays tribute in Quảng Trị and Huế. Central Military Commission and Ministry of National Defense pay gratitude in Thái Nguyên Province. Vietnam earns tens of millions of US dollars from exporting flowers and foliage. On July the 26th, in commemoration of the 78 Wounded Veterans and Martyrs Day, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính led a delegation to Quảng Trị Province and Huế City to offer incense in remembrance of heroic martyrs, former party and state leaders, and to visit a heroic Vietnamese mother. Accompanying the Prime Minister were senior officials from the Ministry of National Defense and various central ministries and agencies. At the Quảng Trị Ancient Citadel, a national special relic, the Prime Minister and the delegation solemnly offered incense and flowers and observed a moment of silence to honor the immense sacrifice of the heroic martyrs who laid down their lives during the 81-day campaign to defend the ancient citadel and Quảng Trị town. Their courage and sacrifice were pivotal in the struggle for national independence, unity and freedom. In his tribute, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính expressed deep gratitude and reaffirmed the commitment of the entire party, people and armed forces to uphold the legacy of the martyrs. He called for continued unity, dedication and service to the country, striving to build a prosperous, civilized and strong Vietnam, worthy of the sacrifices made by previous generations. At the National Road 9 War Cemetery, the delegation laid a wreath and offered incense in memory of more than 10,800 martyrs who fought and died on the Road 9 front in Quảng Trị and on the battlefields of neighboring Laos during the resistance war against the United States imperialists. The Prime Minister also visited the memorial site of late Party General Secretary Lê Duẩn in Triệu Phong Commune, Quảng Trị Province. There, he expressed deep respect and appreciation for the great contributions of General Secretary Lê Duẩn to the cause of national liberation, reunification and development. As part of the visit, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính paid a heartfelt visit to heroic Vietnamese mother Đào Thị Vui, 102 years old, in Thượng Xá Hamlet, Hải Lăng Commune, Quảng Trị. Mother Vu's husband and only son were both martyred in the war. The Prime Minister extended warm regards and sincere appreciation for her family's extraordinary sacrifices. Earlier that morning, the Prime Minister and the delegation offered incense at the Museum of General Nguyễn Chí Thanh in Huế City, honoring the legacy of the distinguished military leader and patriot. On the occasion of the 78th anniversary of Wounded Veterans and Martyrs Day, July the 27th, on July the 26th, the working delegation of the Central Military Commission and the Ministry of National Defense, led by General Phan Văn Giang, Minister of National Defense, conducted policy and gratitude activities in Thái Nguyên Province. In Phú Đình Commune, Thái Nguyên Province, General Phan Văn Giang offered flowers and incense at the President Ho Chi Minh Memorial House in the ATK Định Hóa Special National Relic Site, expressing their respect and infinite gratitude to the great leader of the Vietnamese people, who devoted his entire life to the revolutionary cause of the country. At the General Võ Nguyên Giáp Memorial House in the General Appointment Hill area, the delegation offered incense, commemorated and expressed deep gratitude to the first general, the big brother of the Vietnam People's Army, an excellent disciple of President Ho Chi Minh, who devoted his whole life to the revolutionary cause of the party and the nation. Offering incense at the temple at the July the 27th National Special Relic Site, Đại Phúc Commune, Thái Nguyên Province, General Phan Văn Giang and the delegation respectfully commemorated President Ho Chi Minh and heroic martyrs who sacrificed for the independence and freedom of the fatherland and the happiness of the people. General Phan Van Giang and the delegation presented gifts to policy families and national contributors in Phú Đình and Đại Phúc communes. Minister Phan Van Giang affirmed that the Vietnam People's Army will continue to promote the tradition of when drinking water, remember its source, effectively implement homefront policy and increasingly take better care of the material and spiritual lives of policy beneficiaries. In the context of the world being transformed strongly by the Fourth Industrial Revolution, digital economy and green transformation, Vietnam is facing a historic opportunity to make breakthrough developments. Resolution 57 was born as an important milestone, clearly demonstrating the determination of the party and state in maximizing the intellectual strength and innovative spirit of the Vietnamese people. A journey to the future begins with innovative thinking today. Resolution 57 is not only a call, but also an action program to realize the aspiration to rise in each individual, organization, and the whole society. The 14th National Party Congress, to be held in early 2026, will be a major political event for the entire nation and also a historical milestone marking the country's entry into the era of national growth. Facing new opportunities in 2024, on the occasion of the 79th anniversary of the founding of the country, Party General Secretary Tô Lâm wrote an important article on digital transformation, affirming that data is an important resource and means of production, which helps promote the development of production forces, change production methods and production relations, thus creating new momentum for development. Along with the direction of General Secretary Tô Lâm, Resolution number 57 dated December 22, 2024 of the Politburo on breakthroughs in science, technology, innovation and national digital transformation was issued. The resolution is a strategic turning point in the national digital development policy, affirming the importance of data, considering data as one of the 4 important pillars of the digital era. We must regard data as a new resource, the air and light of the new era, a new means of production. Digital transformation serves as a tool to innovate production methods, business models, and production forces. We need to focus on advancing key digital transformation initiatives, especially the implementation of Project 06 and the development of the National Data Center. The National Data Center must be completed with accurate, complete, clean, and real-time data, serving as the core driver of comprehensive digital transformation, contributing to building a digital economy. Along with that, the government has assigned the Ministry of National Defense to lead the development of a breakthrough initiative to advance science and technology, promote innovation and drive digital transformation in the field of command automation and military modernization. Agencies and units across the military have promptly developed implementation plans for both the resolution and the Ministry of National Defense digital transformation strategy with specific goals and tasks. On January 2, 2025, the Ministry of National Defense issued its Digital Transformation Plan for 2025, setting forth specific missions and objectives for all subordinates. Key priorities include completing the construction of a national defense data center, further enhancing the IT infrastructure, especially the military communication network, and the development and application of military-grade computing systems. Next is the integration of classified documents into the Ministry of National Defense secure digital environment using advanced cybersecurity solutions. The fourth focus is on improving digital human resource quality by radically reforming education and training programs across military academies and institutions. Such commitment to implementing Resolution 57 of the Politburo has become a call to action for every military personnel, in which leaderships across units play a pivotal role in guiding and ensuring the success of the mission. Coming up next, Vietnam earns tens of millions of US dollars from exporting flowers and foliage. Global integration, national development. According to customs statistics, Vietnam's flower exports reached nearly 38 million US dollars in the first half of this year, an impressive 21% increase compared to the same period last year. Remarkably, foliage, an often underappreciated category, generated over 5.2 million US dollars in revenue, marking a surge of more than 36%. Once largely reliant on flower imports, Vietnam is now exporting high-quality blooms from Đà Lạt to demanding markets such as Japan, the Republic of Korea, Chinese Taiwan, and Australia. At the same time, foliage is emerging as a rising star in international trade. Market analysts note that this product group still holds substantial growth potential, particularly as Vietnamese communities and Asian cuisine continue to expand their global footprint. In the strong development of the nation today, Vietnamese expatriates across the 5 continents are not only a connection between Vietnam and the world, but also a valuable source of strength, contributing to the cause of building and safeguarding the fatherland. From the consistent policies of the party and the state to promote the role of overseas Vietnamese to the concrete measures that unlock intellectual, financial, scientific, and technological resources, overseas Vietnamese are standing new chances to accompany the nation. Chairman of the State Committee for Overseas Vietnamese Affairs NGUYEN will provide a closer look into the latest policies and the important role that the overseas Vietnamese community plays in Vietnam's current development and international integration. How is the party and state's policy on promoting the role of the overseas Vietnamese community being reflected in the current period, particularly in economic development?
Chủ trương của Đảng và Nhà nước ta từ ngày
Throughout our nation's history, from the struggle for independence and reunification to national reconstruction and the new era of the nation's rise, overseas Vietnamese have consistently played a vital role and stood side by side with the nation. In recent years, Vietnam has undergone profound changes, referred to by the party General Secretary as a national awakening period. This powerful transformation has also been shaped by the contributions, attention, and companionship of the overseas Vietnamese community. The party and state's policies toward overseas Vietnamese are clearly reflected in recent key directives and measures. What policies has the State Committee for Overseas Vietnamese Affairs implemented or is currently implementing to facilitate investment business activities? First, we've carried out activities to help overseas Vietnamese better understand the country's economic, cultural, social, and scientific potential. Encouraging their contributions, we've also created channels to connect overseas Vietnamese with domestic businesses, scientific research, and technological application in Vietnam. We also host forums to connect overseas Vietnamese scientists, entrepreneurs, intellectuals, and distributors with domestic partners, helping strengthen Vietnam's economic links with the world, leverage national strength, and maximize global business opportunities. How do you assess the potential and role of the overseas Vietnamese community in promoting Vietnam's industrialization? While Vietnam has over 100 million people with a high proportion of young population, there are also more than 6 million overseas Vietnamese living in over 130 countries and territories. Among them is a large number of scientists, intellectuals, and entrepreneurs. We currently have about 600,000 overseas Vietnamese professionals and scholars with high qualifications and standing in developed countries. Many have held key positions in foreign governments, won major science and technology awards, and contributed significantly to research and development institutions in Europe, the US, Japan, and the Republic of Korea. This is a highly valuable resource of the overseas Vietnamese community. As Vietnam enters a new phase of transformation, where the party and state have identified science and technology as a strategic breakthrough, we believe there is enormous potential within the overseas Vietnamese community. With resolutions 57 and 68 of the Politburo, we now have a good opportunity to tap this potential for the country's development. This is the end of the QPVN news today. Remember to watch our news again at qpvn.vn. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.